Hi everyone, welcome to Issues. This week we're going to look at the nuclear energy industry. We're going to look at what happened at Chernobyl.
Power's rising, Alex. Power's rising.
Well, only put the turbine in. How's that?
It's criminal, and it's got to stop, and you have got to stop it.
Sir, we need to discuss the evacuation.
There will be no evacuation.
Nobody told them. Nobody. Can no longer pretend.
My name is Valery Legasov, and 2 years ago, I'd never believed that my life would end like this. I used to think of this country as a new civilization. I think we all did. It was like a dream we shared. But 2 years ago, we were woken from that dream by an accident, an unprecedented accident. I headed the investigation into what caused the explosion. Compiled endless notes and testimonies, and later I had the chance to present this evidence to the world. I didn't lie, but I didn't tell the whole truth. Now I want to go back to that night when what should have been a straightforward test on the reactor led to unimaginable tragedy. I need to relive the desperate days that followed. I need to reveal why the world really came to know the name Chernobyl.
Sir, just like that, we should wait.
How dare you?
Sorry, sir, I'm not prepared to remove control rod while the reactor is this unstable.
How dare you?
Do it.
Sir, I don't think that it...
Do it now, I am ordering you.
Yes, sir. Protocol states that when the power has dropped like this, we shouldn't try...
50%,
I'm not about to delay this test again because of a couple of insubordinate teenagers. You will do it now, or I will have you fired and replaced.
Yes, sir, you don't think...
I will remove you from this station unless you increase power at once. Now remove the rods.
Reduce reactivity reserve, yes, sir, sorry. Menopause.
Rods controlling the reactor are removed in preparation for the test. Of course, at this time in the Soviet Union, any information about the risks of nuclear power was classified. As far as these men know, Soviet reactors are flawless. Nothing ever goes wrong. Nothing can go wrong. Of course, some of us know different. Some of us know that there have been accidents, and for some years we've harbored silent fears of something big. But in all that time, we've never really dared consider what we really meant by big. And we were about to find out.
Turn it off. What is it?
Separated steam pressure's dropping.
Well, turn it on. Switch off that whole safety relay or it'll shut us down halfway through the test.
Luba's met Sasha's new teacher. Yeah, he says he's taught 10-year-olds at his previous school.
Please shut up. Is it too much to ask to get this done, all of you? Bunch of illiterate crap. Let me know when the output's up.
Output 700 and critical, sir.
Happy, Mr. Akimov?
Very happy, sir. I just thought that it might not be...
At last. Well, get this out of the way. Shut down turbine 8.
Pull down number 8, please.
Take down turbine 8.
Power's rising, Alex. Power's rising.
Well, he put the turbine in. How's that? It was stable just now.
Come on, we've had this. Let's stop it.
Shut down the reactor. Put the controls back in. He said, sir, I'm shutting down the reactor.
Well, there goes the test. How am I supposed to explain that?
I'm sorry, sir. It wasn't worth it. The power was climbing. I didn't know exactly when that was coming. What was that?
What happened? Somebody tell me what happened.
Control rods haven't gone in. What's the rods haven't gone in.
Well, let them drop in.
I am doing. I just don't know why they didn't go in the first place. I pressed the AZ button. They should have gone in.
Maybe.
Shit! Right, this is an emergency. Cool down the reactor immediately. Increase the water supply. Cool it down. Okay,
Well, get down to the reactor and lower the rods by hand. All of them. Call on that. You've got to shut it down.
I am in charge here. I am in charge. What did you do, Ahmed? What did you do?
Nothing, son. I don't understand it. Look, I pressed the AZ button, but it didn't shut it down.
The power surged.
The power surged.
Yes.
Talia, it's Yuri. I've just called Brukhanov.
Oh, no.
I had to.
Why? For heaven's sake, why?
The entire roof's been blown off. The fire brigade are
Just
here.
please, don't call anyone you don't need to. Okay. Brukhanov knows. Look, we'll be all right. He'll see that when he gets here. Just more water. Keep the reactor cool. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Who did you send to the reactor?
A nuclear reactor like the one at Chernobyl contains about 20 times the nuclear material of an atomic bomb and many thousands of tons of highly radioactive graphite. If it's damaged severely enough, all this radiation will escape. It'll travel through almost anything. Drift with the wind. Odorless. Indiscriminate. And it takes life in silence.
Hi, I'm John McMillan at the Nelson Power Tool Centre. We have great prices on all the top quality brands of power tool. Tools and equipment at our showroom, 146 Tahunanu Drive in Nelson. The Nelson Power Tool Centre, the specialists that stand behind and service what we sell.
Hi, my name's Ian Mortimer. Mortimer Auto Upholstery is your one-stop shop for all your upholstery needs. We do car and boat interiors, boat canopies, ute tonneau covers, canvas and PVC fabrication. Call in and see us in Oxford Mews, 72 Oxford Street, Richmond.
Oh, to be healthy.
Lifestyle, diet and exercise, complemented with quality supplements, can provide you the insurance vital for your natural health and well-being. With over 10 years professional experience making some of New Zealand's most trusted nutritional supplement brands, visit the O2B Healthy Factory Outlet in Wakatu Industrial Estate. Over 200 supplements to choose from, free on-site parking, no middleman.
Oh, to be healthy. Caring for you naturally.
Hi, Gus Bulens of Gustav's Clothing for Men on Trafalgar Street. I'd like to invite all the people of Nelson, Tasman and international and local visitors to come and check out our brand new refurbished store, which is now chock full of the latest international and New Zealand brands. From France, Lacoste. From the UK, Ben Sherman. R.M. Williams. From Sweden, Gant. From the US, Calvin Klein jeans. And from New Zealand, Rembrandt suits, jackets and trousers. Cutler, Berlin and Snowy Fine merino knitwear. So come on into Gustav's on Trafalgar Street and we'll look after you.
It can't be. Where's the reactor, Ellie? It's there. Fireman on the roof. We better get out of here. The reactor's gone. The roof's been blown off. It's the reactor. It's gone. The reactor's
Listen, you've got that wrong. The reactor is fine. You have got to be wrong. You've got to be wrong.
about their faces, sir? The water pipes have been destroyed. There's water everywhere. Dust. It's just...
No way, no. Now listen, Brukhanov's going to be here soon. I need to tell him that we're cooling that reactor. Now you two go to the infirmary. Babachev's team are here, so you two go home. I got to meet Brukhanov.
Severe exposure to radiation begins a decline that is untreatable and atrocious. After initial dizziness and vomiting, sensitive tissues like the tongue begin to swell. Skin blackens, detaches itself. The cells of your body begin to break down. But your DNA is also grotesquely transformed so that in the days following exposure, you're gradually robbed not just of your life, but of the very thing that makes you the human being you are. It's a dreadful journey, which more and more unwitting bodies began that night. But just as the flesh can tolerate only so much radiation, it seems the mind can only absorb so much horror before it closes up to protect itself. Perhaps that's logic. Perhaps when the threat exceeds imagination, we conclude that the threat simply cannot be true.
We can't go. We can't leave. We can't. You and me especially. You and me especially. Yeah, I know. Right, well, something's stopping water getting into the reactor.
It must be one of the gate valves.
I'll have to open them by hand.
Viktor Brukhanov is the man who built and ran the Chernobyl plant. He was highly respected by his superiors and in line for high honors.
Beside the damage, the radiation... Well, the only equipment we have to measure it, the control room Geiger counters, and they're reading 3.6 Roentgen per hour.
Well, that's not that bad, is it? I mean, 3.6. It's nothing.
Nothing, yes. But the scale only goes up to 3.6, and it's off that scale.
But it could be 3.6. It could be 3.6.
Yes, it could be 3.6.
Zakov, I have no intention of telling Moscow it's worse than it is, okay? If it says it's 3.6, it is 3.6. Nikolai, come here.
Despite the evidence, the blinding belief was taking hold of the workers at the plant that the reactor must be saved, that flooding it with water was essential. This effort, this sacrifice, was in fact futile.
Bring him in here. I want you to take readings in the building. Inside, around, everywhere. Then you get back here and report to us only.
Men are falling ill.
Kiev are sending 3,000 troops to secure the area. Moscow has appointed a government commission to investigate. Standard procedure, Nick. Nothing I can do about it. First experts get here this afternoon, the rest later tonight. Boris Sherbina will be in charge. He's deputy chairman of the Council of Ministers. I've not met him, but I've certainly met his expert advisor, Valery Legasov of the Kurchatov Institute. Party zealot. He has a lot of friends.
So the roof's destroyed, but there's no damage to the reactor? This is where I come in.
None at all?
I'm to make a brief visit to the plant.
Okay.
To get to the bottom of what's happened.
Thanks.
It'd be a lie to say I didn't feel a jolt of excitement. Pride, even. Yes, there's been a massive explosion, the biggest ever in a nuclear plant, but fatalities are low. As far as we've been told, our technologies and our personnel have coped with the crisis well. Everything is under control.
The reactor is destroyed. It is destroyed. And the readings are not 3.6 rent to 10, sir. They are 15,000. 15,000.
No, this is impossible. Don't listen to this, sir. The equipment is wrong.
Tulya, you must be wrong. I've told Moscow that...
Throw it in a bin.
There's nothing wrong with the equipment, and I feel extremely ill.
Throw it in the bin, you cretin! Get out! Get out! Imbecile! Idiot!
This is impossible.
Sir, I wanted to ask about evacuating Pripyat. Yes, the employees' town next to...
What are you talking about? What's the matter with you? You do no such thing. Do not speak of that again. Wait. You gave the readings to be 3.6. Are we now to assume you do not have the situation under control?
Oh, no, we do. I do. Radiation is within normal limits.
Alex, I can't do this anymore. Oh, my pelvis so swollen. My head. It's been hours. No. I think something really bad has happened, Alex. It can't just be you. It must be escaping. You must be everywhere. It must be everywhere. Will you see my wife? I want to see my wife!
The morning of the 26th of April was as warm and beautiful as anyone could remember. Yet, before dawn, the fresh, clear air had already been transformed. Now nothing was harmless. Dust, hair, clothes, the water supply, crops, livestock, the food they make, the milk they make, poison.
What have they done to you,
You're
Alex?
fine.
They're not allowing people to go in. I can't come in.
God's sake, will you go? Get the kids home. And keep the window closed, Wilbur. Keep the window closed.
Boris, how are you? Well, we've little more to go on. Victor Brukhanov, the director of the plant, has reconfirmed that radiation doesn't exceed 3.6 rentgens per hour. Got to say, we're a little surprised by that, but if true, that's very good news.
So I don't need to worry?
You can if you want to, Boris. I wouldn't until it gets much higher.
A thorough inspection of the reactor building was immediately instigated. Our skilled technical staff confirmed a degree of damage to the structure of Unit 4. Fire did cause some minor damage to the roof of the turbine hall. It was quickly extinguished by our highly trained fire crews.
And since this morning, water has been fed to the reactor in order to cool it, according to...
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Sir, this is Prushinsky, Chief Engineer of the State Committee.
The situation is a lot more grave.
Comrade Brukhanov has not finished his report yet.
So the concrete cap on the reactor that weighs about 1,000 tons has been blown to one side by the explosion, and it's now like a massive half-closed eyelid from above.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after-sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Hi, I'm John McMillan at the Nelson Power Tool Centre. We have great prices on all the top quality brands of power tool. Tools and equipment at our showroom, 146 Tahunanu Drive in Nelson. The Nelson Power Tool Centre, the specialists that stand behind and service what we sell.
Discover the Belgrove Tavern just 20 minutes south of Richmond on State Highway 6 for meals, functions, weddings, barbecues and garden bar with lots of room for kids. Come and see us.
The majority of information in our life comes to us through our vision. With only one set of eyes to last our lifetime, it's important that you look after them. For over 20 years, Carrington Eye Care has led the way in providing the Nelson Tasman region with professional eye care. Our team are committed to providing you and your family with the highest standard of eye care. As part of this commitment at Carrington Eye Care, we recommend Crizal lenses. Crizal is a revolutionary lens which repels dust and fingerprints. This means it's easier to clean and stays cleaner longer. Visit us at our Nelson, Richmond and practices and ask about our Crizal satisfaction guarantee.
For generations, Concrete and Metals Limited have been the trusted name in providing concrete materials and contracting services for all those large and small jobs, from landscaping to houses to driveways and right up to large subdivisions. Concrete and Metals, 99 King Edward Street, Motueka.
A reactor core.
And it's burning, sir. It's on fire.
Sir, we need to evacuate the town at once and close down the... Comrade Sabina will be here soon, and when he arrives... What is the reading here in town?
Well, even at that height, it's 10,000 rentgens. I don't know where this 3.6 figure came from, but
the readings were below. So we need to evacuate the town at once and shut down the remaining reactor. Glasnost nonsense. Evacuating the town will cause panic. People are already leaving because of rumour alone. No. Oh, and Bernhoff, your troops will not wear their masks and protective clothing. It will cause suspicion. And anyway, we haven't got enough to go round.
A rumour was spreading, which some believed, but most did not. Safe in the knowledge that they would be told of any threat, 35,000 people spent a sunny Saturday afternoon surrounded by levels of radiation 400 times the accepted norm. And still no warning was given. No action taken. Still no iodine given to the 17,000 children whose thyroid glands are now absorbing radiation like a sponge absorbs water. This is no longer the denial of the guilty. Their delusion is falling away with their blistered skin. No, this is the men above them. They are now the blind ones. To them, the truth is a greater threat than the invisible murderer that they know is on the loose.
There's 4 reactors here, of course, 4 units, all identical. The 5th one should be finished this year, and there's another one planned, so in 3 years, this will be the largest plant in the world. This is the 4th one that's coming in now. This one? Just to the left of the red and white chimney. Could have done the singing. What's that light? It's the reactor. We're looking into the reactor. We have to move. We have to go. Move us away. Just go.
Sir, we need to discuss the evacuation. There will be no evacuation.
No, Boris, we discussed radiation. There's every chance.
Panic is worse than radiation. Are we in here?
Finally, as our friends in the KGB can confirm, nothing has been reported overseas and nothing in Kiev. Moving on to the reactor. Deputy Minister of Energy Shasharin ordered an inspection.
It's completely destroyed.
Ordered an inspection and can confirm that it is in fact damaged. But we suggest that it be left to burn off.
Did anyone hear what Gennady just said? Look, being destroyed.
Comrade Legasov, you will have your chance to speak later.
I'm sorry, Boris, but it seems there's almost no one in this room who understands what this means. It's on fire. The graphite moderator, which in itself is just unbelievably radioactive, and what's left of the fuel core are on fire. Now, that's about 2,500 tons of carbon, which, burning at 1 ton an hour, will burn roughly for 3 months. And every day that it burns, it will send into the atmosphere more radiation than has ever been released in all the nuclear accidents that have ever happened anywhere in the world, all put together. Every day, for 3 months. You have my word that people asleep in their beds in this town tonight have effectively died today. As I speak, radiation is entering the bodies of everybody in this room. Everybody outside for hundreds of miles. We can no longer pretend. And it's criminal. And it's got to stop, and you have got to stop it. I don't know how we can remedy the situation, but it's simply unacceptable to suggest we let it burn out.
Burn off.
Then we must quickly and quietly find a remedy and put it out.
Radiation doesn't penetrate lead. Why don't we drop lead from helicopters?
No, not lead. You've got to be careful with this thing. Here's the reactor, yeah? And it's separated from these chambers below by a floor made of concrete and steel. Now, these chambers are now flooded with just hundreds and thousands of gallons of water. Lead blocks dropped from that height are simply punch a hole in this floor, the fuel and the gases have reached the water, and you get a simply massive, I mean massive, thermal explosion.
What extinguishes this sort of thing?
Well, we've never had this sort of thing, so we don't really know.
We know water won't put it out.
Only possible one is sand. Might have an effect. Maybe add some boron to absorb the neutrons.
And sand would smother it?
Might.
Maybe add some dolomite?
There's a risk to this, because, I mean, although the sand might smother the radiation, it could also act like a furnace, and you're just going to heat up the fire.
So what? The radiation would be stopped.
It would just burn through the floor towards the water.
And then we'd be back with a thermal explosion again.
What is your advice, gentlemen?
Sand. But we're going to have to watch the temperature like a hawk.
Helicopters, hundreds of them.
Notify the Air Force.
Boris, what about the local population? What about Pripyat?
First thing in the morning, evacuate.
So, the people of Pripyat will end the day in the homes of strangers. Of course, so will the radioactive dust on their hair, their clothes, their bodies, on the wheels of their buses. To limit panic and baggage, they're being told it's just for 3 days, but of course we know better. We don't know if dropping sand will smother the fire, but even if it does, we know that these people will never see their homes again. My God. I estimate we'll need to drop about 5,000 tons. The riverbanks here are almost pure sand.
Seems we have no other hope.
Just do that another 4,000 times and we can go home. Next one up. Stand by Alpha 256.
Thousands of sand runs lay ahead. So too did the investigation into what or who had caused this catastrophe.
How much is a lethal dose? 400? 400 rads? A bit less. What did you get? 650.
Don't know, mine. Less than that.
No one's told me. I got 1,500.
Show off. Is your sand working, Valerie?
We don't know. We'll find out tomorrow.
These reactors have been around for years, sir. Years. If there's a problem...
It exploded when you hit the AZ button. Why didn't it stop the reaction? You say there couldn't be a design fault, but how else do you explain it?
They'd know. And if they knew, they'd tell us. The protocol would say.
Maybe.
Do you think we'll get the blame for this? You and me?
Yeah, I do.
My world, everything's changing. Everything's upside down. The town's now a wasteland. What was once comforting is now deadly. My idea to save the situation could be pushing us all towards apocalypse. And even the question of blame for this catastrophe is becoming very unclear to me. You knew that the instruments only went up to 3.6.
Valerie.
You knew there was absolutely no way they could give you a true sense of the levels.
Valerie.
I was to be decorated this year, honoured, with my picture on the wall. I couldn't just throw that away. And I wanted to believe it could all be salvaged. Truly.
You should never be forgiven, Victor. But you might not be the only reason we're here. What I suspect is true. There isn't an innocent man in the building. I think this is going to catch up with us all. Hello?
Boris, we've got the temperature readings through from the chemical boys.
We have our own problems, Valerie. The Swedish have just reported radiation in their atmosphere.
Fire temperature is not falling. I can promise you that's a far more concern of the Soviet people than anything the Swedes can throw up. You remember the furnace effect on the floor beneath the reactor? Well, as far as we can work out, the fire's already burned halfway through this floor towards the water. When the temperature reaches 2,900 degrees, the uranium dioxide will melt and either burn or run its way through to hit the water.
The thermal explosion.
It would be
enormous. Far greater than anything we've seen. It will level 200 square kilometers. It'll also totally vaporize the fuel in the other 3 reactors. Most of Kiev would perish, and the Dnieper and Pripyat rivers, which supply, 30 million people with water, massively irradiated.
Northern Ukraine and most of Belarusia would be uninhabitable for anything up to a century.
This must not go beyond this room. Tell Viedov to keep monitoring it, and Negasov, I want a plan.
For generations, Concrete and Metals Limited have been the trusted name in providing concrete materials and contracting services for all those large and small jobs from landscaping to houses to driveways and right up to large subdivisions. Concrete and Metals, 99 King Edward Street, Motueka.
Waimea Telecommunications, specializing in free-to-air digital television, internet broadband connections, telephone and telecommunications systems. Call Julian Toon at Waimea Telecommunications on 544-4203. Nelson Tire Center, great prices, great service. Buy your own Bryford trailer, all types, all sizes. See Colin Douglas for your tires and batteries.
Hi, I'm Graham from Classic Gates Engineering. We specialise in all sorts of engineering, classic gates, balustrades, pool fences, do structural engineering, house lots of structural steel work, swimming pool fences. We also do firebox repairs, garden furniture, archways, etc. So for powder coating, sandblasting, all sorts of paintwork, call in to see us, 6 Nelson Street, Blenheim, Classic Gates Engineering.
Nestled in the Garden City of Christchurch is one of New Zealand's most beautiful and famous holiday parks, where we join the wildlife with a warm welcome to all visitors. The canopy of trees and gardens provide a tranquil setting amongst all the amenities, playgrounds, swimming and spa pools, and entertainment on a grand scale. This wonderful park offers the weary traveller a haven of quality. Low-cost cabins, motels, tourist flats, caravan, campervan and campsites. Meadow Park, located on Cranford Street near the main North Road, Christchurch.
Find a couple of wetsuits, as thick as possible. Just keep them on standby until we need them. I am a committed communist, but as the days unfold at Chernobyl, I begin to see a face of the Soviet people that even I had stopped dreaming of. There's no fuss, no waste. A further 116,000 people are evacuated, a decision that would have taken months, taken in minutes. After years of stagnation and self-serving bureaucracy, there's now only passion and an almost brutal decisiveness. In the committee, we start using the phrase counting lives when a suggested task comes with a figure of how many men might be lost getting it done. The responsibility not to make mistakes, not to waste life is a terrible privilege.
Ready? Radiation's up. 2 million cures yesterday, 4 million today.
Shit! What does this mean?
It means it's getting hotter. A lot hotter.
We're heading for meltdown.
Unless we can clear the water from beneath the reactor, the explosion we were talking about is inevitable.
What options do we have?
Well, we have to count lives. The firemen again, to pump out the vents in the basement area. We also need to open these gate valves in the bubbler pool. The problem is they're underwater, highly radioactive water. I've ordered some thick wetsuits, but we need a couple of volunteers to swim down and open them by hand. We've seen so many walking dead and sent so many to their deaths, but never with such certainty. We tell them the truth, and they trust us. Is this task essential? Then there's nothing more to say.
They've entered the building, confirming the dive team is inside Unit 4.
I don't believe there are even a handful of nations in this world that could still produce such unquestioned sacrifice. Is it 1941 all over again? When the Soviet heart was exposed to the Nazi invasion. It's the same lack of readiness, same desperation, the same courage.
Yes to that. Confirm that water has cleared the lower chambers. There is no immediate threat of thermal explosion. Repeat, no immediate threat of thermal explosion.
We triumphed, and 1 million lives were saved. But I could already see what lay ahead. Years of clear-up, of investigation, and of blame.
Don't hug him, don't kiss him, and don't touch him.
I got out of bed yesterday, and the skin on my leg slipped down to my ankle like a loose sock. The roof of my mouth done for, Luba. I'm so sorry. Everything hurts so much. But I feel this guilt. It's worse than the pain.
14 days after the explosion, the first radiation victims, the men from the control room, begin to die. Many see this as a kind of justice. But the truth is more dreadful than that. They are no different from the men who saved us. But instead of telling them the risks, the truth about the rods, the reactor, we systematically withheld it. And with all their Soviet hearts, they trusted us. Convince a man he can fly and disaster is inevitable.
Mr. Legasov, the work you have done is a credit to you and your institute. And your report, and the way you reached your conclusions, are of the highest order. The highest. But you will not read this to the international community in Vienna. You simply will not. Now, the Politburo have appointed you to present the report, so there is nothing that I can do to prevent you going.
Sir, I'm a scientist. I don't believe we can continue...
You are not a scientist. You are a politician. Sooner you realize that. Tomorrow, the Politburo will publish their judgment that the operators perpetrated a series of crude violations. And you propose to contradict the Politburo?
They disobeyed the rules, but they weren't aware of the facts.
Your report will be examined and rewritten by a committee of our own physicists. They will remove any reference to known flaws in the reactor design, the tips of the rods, etc. They will make more clear the shortcomings of the control room staff. And you will present that report in Vienna this August.
I did not speak out. I sat before the world in Vienna and blamed those young men at the controls. I made no mention of the role I'd played in their ignorance. I've tried to speak out since, to topple the myth that I helped create, but the papers I write, interviews I give, are not published. I've done nothing but damage my career and my standing. It's now 2 years to the day since the accident, and I have nothing. Which I think is just.
Valery Legasov's suicide caused shockwaves throughout the Soviet nuclear industry. After his death, design flaws in the graphite tips of Chernobyl-type RBMK reactors were finally admitted to, and changes hurriedly made. Despite this, Alexander Akimov and his colleague Leonid Toptunov have never been publicly exonerated. Many still believe they were largely responsible for the explosion. Power station director Viktor Brukhanov was sentenced to 10 years in prison, as was deputy chief engineer Anatoly Syatlov. Both were released early due to ill health. Once the fire died, investigators found that the fuel did in fact melt down to the chambers below. Had these not been drained of water, the thermal explosion would have taken place. This solidified fuel that cannot be moved will remain radioactive for at least 100,000 years. Official figures place the total death toll at just 31 people, all of them firemen and workers from the power station. The true figure, although impossible to calculate exactly, is very much higher. The radiation cloud contaminated millions of square kilometers. In neighboring Belarus, incidence of tumors rose to 50 times that of the United Kingdom, and 2,000 children from the surrounding area contracted thyroid cancer. A UN report estimated that by 2002, that figure will have doubled. The victims of Chernobyl are victims of secrecy and denial. Almost 3 weeks after the explosion, President Gorbachev made an unprecedented public confession.
Все вы знаете,
But even he failed to acknowledge the role secrecy had played in the disaster. Just as Valery Legasov had maintained, some secrets can bring only catastrophe.
So there we go. Did we learn any lessons from Chernobyl in terms of what's happened in Japan? Maybe not. That's issues for another week. If you've got an issue you'd like us to cover, please don't hesitate to email us at issues@7-media.net.
Hi, I'm John Crouch. I'm Crafer Crouch Construction. We're general contractors here. We specialise in drainage, earthworks, concrete, gravel supplies. We have our own mobile crushers. So for all your contract requirements, call us on 5783 475 Blenheim or in 5736 119 Picton.
From Cresswell's on Market Street, we've fitted footwear for all seasons, all reasons. For summer times in the Sounds, for solid support on the sidelines, for social events around town, for good times round the grapevines. That's why at Cresswell's we believe in fitting footwear correctly so you get the best out of quality shoes and sandals and can then get the best out of life.
Cresswell Special Service, it's unique, helping keep Marlborough on its feet for over 60 years.
FAV Mobile Solutions are the scooter, walker and wheelchair specialists for the Nelson region. Call in and see the huge range available. Take one for a free test drive and pick up your free booklet guide. They also provide a rescue service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. Come in and see Robin and the friendly team at FAV Mobile Solutions in the Richmond Free Car Park opposite the Old Town Hall.
Well, the way Freeview is set up is that people should try and receive UHF Freeview first. Satellite should really only be a fallback option if you live in a country or out in the country, or you live in an area that's maybe shielded from the transmitter. If you go terrestrial, you've got the advantage that you get the mainland channels as well. So that's plus, there's an extra 8 channels there, plus 2 radio channels. So.
If you need help tuning into the digital TV channels, please give us a call. Nelson TV and Video Services, 41 Halifax Street, Millers Acre Car Park.
The majority of information in our life comes to us through our vision. With only one set of eyes to last our lifetime, it's important that you look after them. For over 20 years, Carrington Eye Care has led the way in providing the Nelson Tasman region with professional eye care. Our team are committed to providing you and your family with the highest standard of eye care. As part of this commitment at Carrington Eye Care, we recommend Crizal lenses. Crizal is a revolutionary lens which repels dust and fingerprints. This means it's easier to clean and stays cleaner longer. Visit us at our Nelson, Richmond practices and ask about our Crizal satisfaction guarantee.